welcome to the YNE podcast. We are starting with the NYSC members' comments about the President of Nigeria.
Yeah, so there's a whole lot of conversation that she's not from Lagos and she probably lobbied, to come to Lagos. And there are also people talking about the fact that, okay, according to the NYSC handbook or whatever, that you are not supposed to criticize your host community or your host state. And even that this thing, that according to the NYSC handbook as well, you are exempted from criticizing the president or the
talking about politics.
so you are not supposed to criticize or talk about politics as a National Youth Corps member. That you are not supposed to do that. It's a misreaction, like you said, but I also think that she stated the obvious. There's nothing wrong in what she said. It smells, and then the cost of living is actually very, very high. I think about last year they said they were going to be paying them like 70,000 or 77,000. I can't even imagine what 70,000 can do because they rent a house. But I remember when we were growing up, the NYSC members that they used to post to our village. In fact, they used to give them free house
Yeah, free house.
at that time. My secondary school actually have a lodge for their youth course. They have a big lodge, about close to 40 rooms. They come, they put them there, and everybody have their room. They just go furnish it and stuff like that. And even in the town, like if you don't want to live inside the lodge and you decide to go inside the town, a lot of people give you house for free because at that time, how much is a room? Maybe 150 a month. They would rather give it to you, and all those old people, they're always excited seeing all those, youth call, you know, they are excited to see them. So they are very welcoming and they want to accommodate you for free. But now the cost of living has gone up. Imagine somebody living in Lagos. I don't even know where you'll be living in Lagos that you'll be paying less than 100,000 a year.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I think we Nigerians, man, we can't deal with the truth. We can't deal with the truth, especially when it comes to politics. As long as maybe the government is paying us something or we're benefiting from the current administration, we hide our faces, eyes, our ears from the truth. We can't stand the truth. I don't know why it's that. Maybe we're saving faces or we don't want the international community to know what our struggles are.
You've
It's
never
sad.
heard of the saying that says you can't talk while you're eating?
That is true.
Try to do that.
I'm sure that's a lot of what's going on with our people in Nigeria. The cost of living is high. Everybody is feeling the pinch. The rich are feeling it. The poor are feeling it. And some poor people are still fighting against people that are speaking up on their behalf, people that are fighting for their interests. Imagine what some people were saying that she should go back to where she came from. I mean, she's a
Yeah,
Nigerian. A lot of
that was
people
the
in
same.
the country are feeling the heat. They're feeling the heat. People are still making ignorant comments saying, she should go back to where she came from. She was literally telling the truth. You can see she was almost, crying. How do you expect her to leave on 70,000 a month?
The same strategy that they used to win that they used for the 2023 election. That certain individuals in Lagos were telling people that if you are from a certain,
Like group or region.
ethnic group or part of Nigeria, please do not come out to vote. The same thing is the same thing. You Whenever issues come out, they try to tribalize it. They try to pitch us against each other. It's always the political class, or the political class always do it. In fact, that's what they call it, divide and rule, or divide and conquer, or something like that. They want to pitch us against each other to see, in fact, and to even think that every Saturday there is Igbos and Yorubas are getting married every Saturday is even
Of course.
surprising to do. And when it comes to politics, they do not agree. They are loggerheads. It's really absurd. In fact, to even think that somebody picked up phone to threaten that lady and told her to bring down that nonsense that she posted, and when Shore accompanied her to to the office of that person that invited them. They didn't show up.
Yes, because they had no leg to stand on. They didn't have any leg to stand on. They wouldn't show up. I don't think venting like she did is a political statement. It wasn't a political statement. She was just sharing her own experience. She was sharing her own challenge, the challenges she's facing. She relocated to Lagos, and a lot of people came for her and were threatening her and were calling her names and all sort of things. And the things she was saying, they're not political. They're the things that are happening in the country. Things are expensive. People can't feed. I get calls every day of people needing assistance, right? You know, I can only do what I can do, right? At the same time, the people that are there, they keep supporting bad governance. They keep voting against their interests. They keep speaking against their interests. I think all the youth should come together and fight for that lady. They need to come out. I appreciate what Shiwere is doing, but I think a lot more people should stand up and fight for her. The statement she made, it wasn't political. It was just sharing our own experiences since she's relocated to Lagos. And it's sad. And a lot of people out there are struggling. Cost of transportation is high. If you have the money's losing value real quick. When you go shopping today, the price of goods will change the next minute. So I don't know how that is sustainable. But I think we Nigerians, we just like to acclimatize ourselves or adjust ourselves to whatever economic situation is going on in that country. And that's one of the things that is making us hold back and not revolting against the government because we don't like disruptions. Even though when we're living in a society that doesn't favor us, we still want to, obey the rules. And the people, ruling over us don't even obey the rules. But we try to say, hey, parents will caution their kids, hey, don't go out and protest. Please, you're my only son, you're my only daughter. Don't go out to protest. And those are the things that held our parents back from making changes in the country. And now we're seeing the same thing. It's just, it's sad.
Yeah, I mean, I if I am in the position of the president, say I am the president, I'm not trying to say I will condone a bad behavior, but because that's the case that people are making that she's, badly raised, she did not present her case very well. But if I was the president, I am in the position of the president, especially since the president is, presenting himself as a pro-youth, people, somebody that really care about the youth, somebody that really think that our biggest investment, Nigeria's biggest investment is the youth. I will really, really grant that lady audience. I will invite her to the Aso Rock and then sit down, maybe a press conference, sit down, discuss, and ask her about her concern, even though, just for the optics, but I will do it, because when you do that, it will send a signal to the rest of the country that this president really cares about us. If I was the president, I would grant her an audience. I would invite her to the Aso. That's what.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense for the president to do that. At the same time, I'm sure the president sees what's going on in the country. How many youth does he want to invite to the Aso Rock to discuss issues? I'm sure his advisors are there to advise him. I don't know what they're talking about when they go into their meetings, but it doesn't look like they're talking about the real situations, the real issues, the real challenges Nigerian people are facing on the street. And it's getting worse and worse and worse day by day, day by day. Rent are skyrocketing. There are no jobs. People with jobs, they spend like 90% of their salary on transportation because the fuel subsidy was removed. And a lot of people would say that the fuel subsidy was one of the worst mistake of the current president. If he hadn't removed the subsidy, maybe things would be a lot cheaper. We wouldn't know, but we know that before subsidy was removed, a lot of things were cheaper. Even though there was some inflation numbers at that point, but things were still a little bit cheaper and still affordable, and people were still able to get around. But as soon as that subsidy was removed, A lot of people, parked their cars, started walking around the country, started riding shared, started taking shared cabs, shared taxis, shared bicycle. This tricycle thing too, started, using tricycle to get around. People who have cars, they can't drive it because it's expensive to maintain. It's expensive to fuel your car, and it's so sad. And things are just getting worse day by day. I remember when we were growing up, they were saying, "I believe Nigeria will be better. Nigeria will be better." And
From
many of us,
2020.
yeah, Vision 2030. Can you imagine? You remember that too? Nigeria will be better. We're in our 30s, approaching 50s. Still, things are still the same or even worse than they were in the past. And a lot of people in the government today, they benefited from free education. They benefited from, you know, free education even abroad, because there were some scholarships then. I remember when I was in college in Nigeria, one of our friends actually got a scholarship to go study in Algeria. Some people got a scholarship to go study in the US and some other countries like that. Even though we later heard some of the students didn't get their stipends. Some of them they were struggling to feed themselves while studying. It's sad. It's sad.
Yeah, I mean, the fuel subsidy removal was, I mean, three of the major candidates, Atiku, Atiku, Obi, and Tinubu, all of them, talked about removing the subsidy. But I think what really made it a bizarre was the way and the manner in which he did it. There was no consultation. There was no studies. I don't think he had all the specifics. He just stood on the podium and said, "Fuel subsidy is gone." And that sent a ripple effect. That sent a bad signal to the economy, and everything else went downhill from that place. In fact, I would also argue that the fuel subsidy removal and the high cost of fuel could also be a business opportunity. If you are somebody, you could actually start importing, like a lot of people are importing electric cars, electric vehicle. In fact, there's a CNG, but you could import electric keke and stuff like that. But the question is, where is the place to charge them?
Well,
And yeah, there's no place to charge them. I think the president or the presidency refused to understand that the whole Nigerian economy revolves around fuel. You know, I remember when I was in Nigeria in Warri, I used to, my brother used to spend almost 2,000 every night. At that time, almost 2,000 for fuel every night. He comes back from work, he will send me to go and buy fuel. 2,000, sometimes 2,005 till daybreak. The whole Nigeria economy revolves around fuel because there is no steady light. So people end up using generator to power their homes, to power their businesses and stuff like that. And if care is not taken with the situation that is the political crisis in Rivers State, if care is not taken, if Tinubu did not handle it well, because the way he's handling it, it looks like he's being badly advised by some elements that have interest in Rivers State. But if he do not handle it very well, that thing will snowball into something big that will really affect the whole country. Like I think this afternoon, he declared a state of emergency. He suspended the governor. He suspended the House of Assembly members, and then he brought in a retired Navy officer to become the sole administrator. And I think in his mind, I think he will be thinking that he has really solved the problem or he's solving the problem. But I would also argue that that will escalate the situation. Okay. Because as soon as he finished talking, as soon as he finished addressing the nation, 2 hours after, they blew up another pipeline. Another pipeline, was already on fire. They blew up two yesterday. As we speak right now, there's three of them already on fire. And who knows, by the time we wake up tomorrow, there will be another one on fire. Which is going to be a problem for Nigeria because the whole Nigerian budget is predicated on the fuel, on the crude oil. That's the only way Nigeria makes money. There's no other way for them to make money. And I think the best way, this is just me talking, this is my opinion. I would think that the best way to handle the situation is to pacify uh, the main cause of the problem, which is the former governor and now the current minister. He would have called him and pacified him and tell him, to chill out, wait for 2027 and work against this governor. Because every step the president is taking shows that he's really, really behind the former governor. He's not, trying to broker peace. He's just trying to make sure that he protect the interest of the former governor and by extension protecting his interest as well. Because the last election, 2023 election, if Tinubu had lost in Rivers State, he wouldn't have won that election. So the Rivers State was a decided state, was like the swing state. Okay. And I think he's trying to carry the state again in 2027. So that's why he's doing everything to protect his interest. But all the measures he's taking to quell the situation that is going on there is probably going to, escalate the thing even more.
So with this suspension and everything going on, do we really know the root cause of what's going on in that state? Does
The
anybody know what's going on?
the real issue is the issue is very deep. Is a fight between Godfather and the Godson. Ordinarily, Fubara, the current Rivers State governor, for like in a free and fair election, that guy would never win election for local government. Okay? So the former governor helped him, to become the governor. That is what I was telling you that most people they try to hire people that they can control. Okay. So the former governor tried, helped him became the governor, and then I think, before then agreement was reached. This is what you'll be doing. This is your function, and this will be my function. So it's very safe to say that the former governor wanted to use this current governor, to do his third term. Okay. And I think when this governor became the governor, he started receiving a lot of advice. People started talking to him. And then he now saw that no, I cannot keep our agreement. So that was the whole situation. The word on the street is that the issue primarily has to do with River State allocation. So that the former governor said that he will be getting some percentage of the monthly allocation that comes to the state, and the
Allegedly,
governor will
right?
just
Allegedly.
yeah, alleged.
We
So
don't know anything.
it was alleged, yeah, that that was the issue. None of them has come out to say this is really what is causing the issue.
Yeah, that's why I asked. Does anybody know what's really going on? No one can say what's going on. We know that the House of Assembly folks won't let the governor present his budget for the year. And I don't really think individual motives should trump the state's motive, Even if the guy was supported when he was running as a candidate, he's now the governor. We believe the people of Rivers voted for him and they should let him rule maybe for his 4 years and then vote him out if they don't like his policies. But now they're throwing the state in an unrest situation, and it's not going to be looking good for anybody. A lot of people are going to die from this battle. A lot of people are going to lose their livelihood. Nobody knows how long this is going to.
Oh yeah, I mean they are suspended for 6 months. I think the president said that will give them time. The warring parties, that will give them time to resolve their differences. But I don't even see them being able to resolve it because allegedly the former governor wants this current governor to be gone. And the funny thing is that okay, they are trying to impeach this current governor and the deputy as well. And do you know who is going to be the beneficiary of this? The speaker.
The Speaker of the House.
And he's the one pushing for this impeachment. Well, the former governor is pushing the impeachment through the speaker. Okay. And the speaker is going to be the beneficiary. Allegedly they said the speaker is a cousin or a nephew to the former governor. So the whole thing is confusing, but the way I think this is just me thinking like ordinary Nigerian. I think Tinubu could have handled that situation better. I think he would have just told them, called Wiki and told him, just sit this one out. Let's wait for him in 2027. Because mainly looking at the current governor, you would know by his utterances, by the way he do things, you will know that, yeah, this guy is not a politician. He is a technocrat or he's an administrator. He's not in fact, I don't think he can even make a good counselor. Okay. Allegedly. But, you know,
Yeah, it's
you
just
can
sad. It's just sad. The people of River State are gonna suffer for it. And no matter what the arrangement was, no matter what the agreement was, the people of the state should come first. They should come first regardless of what the former governor thinks, regardless of what the current governor thinks. I think a lot of people out there are just speculating. They really don't know what's going on between these two people. They really don't know what's going on in the administration of the state. But I'll say, the president has made his decision. His decision is debatable because I've seen some attorneys and lawyers saying that he doesn't have the constitutional right to suspend a sitting governor that was voted for by the people. He was democratically elected. So they're saying, it's illegal. It's unconstitutional. We don't know, but the president has made his choice and we'll see where this leads.
I mean, it will only lead to more problem because the problem already has like some kind of ethnic coloration to it. The Ijaws are seeing it that they want to shortchange them by removing their own, and they're not going to let it happen. And a good chunk of our distance, our crude oil or the pipeline runs through their area. So yeah, they're not gonna take it. But like I said, if I was the president, I would have handled it a lot better. I think, the same thing that is happening to the governor of Fubra is happening to Wiki, is happening to the president. There is a whole lot of interest, a whole lot of people that have interest in that issue. So all of them will be giving their advice. And then, in fact, I would also argue that the president was too quick to make that call. I would have expected him to, at least slip over their conversation, his conversation with the Senate president, with the deputy Senate president, with the speaker and, deputy speaker, whatever they call him. I would have expected him to slip over it, tell them to go home and he himself go home, slip over it and then wake up and then make a conscious decision. I think people are also pushing the president, because like I said, the president wants to protect his interest and he wants to carry that state. And Rivers State being a PDP state, I think they just want to make that state APC state. And if you have been, if you are familiar with the Rivers State politics, you will know that this is their style of politics, going from the days of Odile, Peter Odile, down to Amechi, then down to Wike. Allegedly, Amechi betrayed Peter Odile, and allegedly, Wike betrayed Amechi. In fact, it was believed that Wike chased Amechi out of Rivers State, even though Amechi had the Buhari behind him during the Buhari's presidency. He made sure that Amechi wasn't coming to Rivers State, and it happened. So this is their style of politics. This is not new. The only new thing about this very situation is that the current governor is not a politician. So that's why probably he's having hard time fighting back. He's not a politician. He's better suited for, as an administrator. He's not a politician. The way he moves, the way he talks, the way he do his things, you will just know that he's not. In fact, what the former governor Wike is doing to this governor, nobody would do it to Wike when Wike was the governor.
Yeah.
In
I mean,
fact,
I've heard this saying when people say when two elephants fight, the grass suffers. So the people of
mhm.
the state are gonna suffer regardless of who comes out on top in this conflict. But we just gotta pray that it doesn't escalate into a larger war in that region. And a lot of people have different interests in that community, especially with the revenue the state generates for the country. I think it's important that Everybody, try to make peace as quickly as possible so that the country can move forward, so that the state, the region can move forward. Because we can't keep dealing with, unrest as like this. Think about it. Inflation is high. People are struggling to feed themselves. I've heard that a lot of children are on the street begging for money, begging for money to eat. A lot of people are not even begging for money to go out and have fun. They're literally begging for money to eat, which is unbelievable. It is unbelievable. And I don't know how long the country can sustain it. I don't know how long the people that are subsidizing the Nigerian economy can sustain it. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's sad that if you're from a poor background, you can aspire to be a president, because you don't have the financial backing, unless you have some sponsors that will support you. But if you're from a poor background, it looks like the gap between the rich and the poor keeps getting long and long and long. And the end result usually will not be good for either party.
That's absolutely right. In fact, the former governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, he alleged that he bought all the forms for every single elected personnel in his state, from the House of Assembly down to the governor. He bought all the funds for them. None of them spent their money. So that is why he's trying to exert some level of authority, or to boss them around. Because let's face it, if you do not have money to sponsor your own election and somebody comes out from nowhere and sponsor you, do not expect that you will be calling the shot. The person that sponsored your election, that sponsored you, will be calling the shot definitely, because he has his own interest to protect.
That is right. Just like in the U.S. politics, Elon Musk invested millions of dollars, and now a lot of people think Elon is the president. Yeah, yeah. The Whoever is sponsoring the campaign, whoever is sponsoring the people running for office, will call the shot when they get in the office. That's the way the game is. It's unfortunate wherever you are. If you're poor, good luck to you. Good luck.
Yeah, and that's not just in politics. I mean, it's almost applicable to life generally. Whoever that is sponsoring, makes the decision for you, tells you what to do. If somebody is paying your school fees, you are not just going to wake up and say you want to go and study sociology, or you want to go and study what they have never heard of, maybe agric engineering or botany. He will tell you what to study, because otherwise, if you don't want to listen, you just go pay your school fees. And then it's unfortunate that, especially in back home, it's unfortunate that, that our country will not almost get, will not almost get to that level where, people can just say, I want to run for an office. In fact, even Peter Obi, that is very, very popular, you did be surprised. People are sponsoring him, people are bankrolling him, people are spending, sponsoring his campaign. So anytime, or if he is lucky to become the president, yeah, people will be calling the shot too. That's just life.
Well, my advice for everyone out there: work hard, pray, and hopefully some luck will come your way and you won't be poor. Life is hard for the poor person. Life is hard for people trying to come up in life. I can't imagine people that were born in the villages, people that are growing up in the villages. I don't know how they're going to navigate this world. I don't know how they're going to navigate the society that's not fair and just. And I think it's our responsibility as people to make our communities better, to make our cities safer, to make our country better in general. So my encouragement is to make sure that you continue to do your part to make your family safe, to make your community safe, and to make your country safe. Final words from you.
Yeah, I mean, keep working hard. Maybe just like Yemi said, maybe someday, you know, luck will come your way. But if you don't, just keep working hard. I mean, everybody's not gonna make it, and everybody's not gonna, some will make it and some won't. So hopefully you will not be the one that will not make it. Just pray you make it, and, and just work hard. And because prayer without work or faith without work, will amount to nothing. As you are praying, do not spend all your time, praying. As you are praying, make sure you back it up with work, and then hopefully, God will have mercy on you, and then prosper.
All
Thank
right.
you for
Thank you
hanging
all
us.
for joining us. Feel free to subscribe, share, like, comment. Let us think. Let us hear what you think about our discussion on this episode. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for joining us. Have a blessed day.
Thank you. Bye bye.